So continuing on with the Knicks rebrand, as I told you before, this summer, I mean, a lot of teams started realizing, this is not the same old Knicks squad from before. And what caught a lot of teams off guard last year was the Knicks finishing second in offense. Now, the Knicks, of course, we don't really have shooters like that, but they found a very interesting way to use analytics to sort of calculate where to take shots to get offensive rebounds. Now, just listen to Fred Katz speak about this, but this definitely caught a lot of teams off guard.
They had a unconventional offense, and even though they were not enjoyable to watch in the conventional sort of way last year, and that they didn't have a ton of athleticism, they didn't have a ton of high flyers, they had a slow kind of prodding offense. What I found enjoyable about watching them offensively during the regular season was the fact that they were just doing it very differently from pretty much every other team in the league. They valued shots the right way. They had a pretty good shot profile. Even though they didn't shoot threes well, Tom Thibodeau always says his goal for the team is he wants them shooting high volume on threes on at least league average percentage. Second half of the season, they basically did that. They were good at getting to the rim. They were good at getting to the line, and they didn't rely too much on the mid-range shot. And the mid-range shots that they took weren't really long mid-range shots. They were short mid-range shots. And they really value those short mid-range shots, in part because someone like Jalen Brunson is really good at it. They have a ton of guys who are good at floaters. And they also really value those mid-range shots because the short mid-range shots, the floater, you have a really high offensive rebound rate on those. And Mitchell Robinson in particular is incredible at offensive rebounding floaters. He actually had an individual, I'll have to double check to see what the numbers were last year, but 2 years ago, I know he individually rebounded 28% of the Knicks missed floaters. That was a higher offensive rebound rate just by himself than 7 other NBA teams had on floaters.
Damn. You wonder why Toronto Raptors are stealing information. God damn, Mitch is Mitch put it in work, boy. No wonder they're asking for all those first round picks.
One guy out-rebounded 5-man units, 7 times down. He is an unbelievable offensive rebounder and is consistently in prime position, specifically to get floaters. He's phenomenal at it. And I thought they were clever in the way that they put the offense together. Jalen Brunson had an extraordinary season. I mean, he was just great all year on the offensive end. Julius Randle.
Especially after January 1st. Woo, that boy was killing. He was averaging about 28 points a game, shooting 51% and 45% from 3. That January was crazy, man. Beautiful basketball by the Knicks. I remember those back-to-back games against the Bulls. Brunson was cooking. He left Caruso on his ass.
Had a really great bounce back year. Emmanuel quickly was especially the last 60 games of the year, hit another level, played the best basketball of his life. And then they got to the playoffs and the offense bogged down against Cleveland, but defensively they were really good, pretty good at getting out on the run, really good at forcing turnovers. They were really good at knowing which guys to guard, which ones not to guard. Then it bogged down a little bit against Cleveland though. And then against Miami, the spacing just went away because the reality is they have basically 4 guys in their starting lineup who are at their best when they're inside the 3-point arc. And that can be difficult to maneuver against a really good defense. I think this is a story that's kind of a good microcosm of the Knicks' attention to detail offensively, where the Knicks knew, okay, we don't have a ton of 3-point shooters. We don't have that. So we need to find every other little advantage to exploit to maximize this offense. So, okay, need to be awesome offensively. Okay, on the offensive boards. Okay, need to take the right kinds of shots to maximize your chances at offensive boards. Okay, need to make sure your shot profile is good. Need to make sure the right guys are taking all the right shots, all that kind of stuff. And one thing that I think is really interesting is the Knicks last year averaged more 3-point attempts per second chance than any other team in the NBA. And that is not a coincidence. They talked to Mitchell Robinson. When you get an offensive rebound, he knows what his reads are. If you key in on Mitchell Robinson, I would not consider him a great passer. I would not consider him a great dribble handoff guy. He obviously doesn't really have a playmaking set. You're not giving the ball to him on a short roll or something like that. He's not passing out of the post. However, he is quite good at passing back out to the perimeter after getting an offensive board. And they've kind of streamlined the process for him and their other players, where the rule of thumb is if Mitch catches it in the restricted area, it's not just Mitch, these are the bigs. And Hartenstein is a very good passer, so he's also very good at this as well, and a very good offensive rebounder, where if you catch the ball inside the restricted area, go back up. If you're
all of them do. I seen Josh Hart do it too. That's a very interesting observation by Fred Katz, but he's going in for sure.
Outside the restricted area, look to the corner. Whoever is in the wing is supposed to be streaking to the corner. And the defense is all jumbled up. They were trying to get the rebound, and they failed to do it. It's a great time to be able to get threes. And if you catch the ball outside of the restricted area, watch what Mitchell Robinson does. If he catches it out there, he's going to look right to the corner, and he's going to see somebody streaking to the corner. And they get a lot of corner threes out of that. They get more 3-point attempts per second chance point, which makes them not just have a ton of second chances because they get so many offensive rebounds. I mean, they were the best offensive rebounding team in the Eastern Conference last year, but it also
it makes sense why we signed Dante DiVincenzo. He's going to add into all this. He's good at passing, especially creating off the dribble, like not to score, but creating off the dribble to find a guy open. And these guys don't make a lot of mistakes, man. But, man, whew, the Knicks are going in. I'm telling you, man, this rebranding is real.
Is their second chance offense really good because of the type of shot selection? They're not just like going back up or throwing it out and trying to run something. It's very rare you'll see Mitchell Robinson get an offensive rebound and then you just like toss it back up for Brunson to run a pick and roll with 10 on the shot clock. They try to operate real quick there.
But I guess when you have someone as obsessive about the game like Tibbs, and you combine them with all these analytical guys in the Knicks back rooms, I guess, you got to find your edge somewhere. And I'm not surprised that the Knicks are kind of one of the front runners to finding a little crevice of offense somewhere. Like, hey, this is a weak point. We could attack it here. It's a different way of looking at the analytics and utilizing it.